And welcome into another edition of the Hustle Show podcast for this Hustle Short on Monday, December 19th. Is that where we are right now? We're up to December 19th. Is that where we are? 18th? I get loose days. Thank God I have Brian Power with me to keep me straight, keep me on the rails. He's gorgeous. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's just a wonderful handicapper, and I am happy to be with you on this Monday, December 18th.
Mark, there's no one I would rather start the week with than you. That's in all due respect to the people I've already done shows with today. I love them as well. Love you too as well. And, we have some work to do today, Mark, because our prop streak came to an end last week, even though there were two games. It was like, 7 or 8 weeks in a row we'd hit a prop on the show, at least one. And then despite having multiple games to continue that streak, it didn't continue last week, but it's a new week. And I got a prop for the people here today, and I can't wait to give it out.
Much like Steph Curry, whose three-pointer streak ended at 268 games over 5 years. Did you see that, by the way, this week?
Yeah,
Steph Curry went over 3 for last night. And 5 years, December 1st, 2018, the streak started, and it ended on December 17th, 2023, which is insane. So you and I will look to start a new streak tonight. We have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Seattle catching 3.5 at home here and a fairly low total in the game. From a game standpoint, there's a lot of questions here because we just don't know who's playing quarterback yet at this point in time as of the recording of the Hustle Show here in the middle of the afternoon. There are questions about Jalen Hurts' illness. He had to take a separate plane because he didn't want to infect the rest of the team. Geno Smith with a groin. He has a groin. Most people do have groins. He has a special groin. Not that I've seen it up close or anything. But all that said, he didn't play last week, and we don't know if he's going to play this week, so it could be Drew Lock again. How much does that affect your handicapping in the prop market tonight without those two quarterbacks?
Well, as far as the game goes, Mark, it affects it quite a bit. I mean, when you don't know who's going to play quarterback, that's quite a big deal, is it not? I was on WagerTalk earlier today with Teddy and Prez. I talked about how I had no interest in betting the side in this game. Question that you can address when I'm done here is, you and I have been yelling about the Eagles for weeks now, how they were due to regress, and boy, did they get smacked in the face by both the 49ers and Cowboys. Now, those are the two top teams in the NFL that they got smacked by. The Seattle Seahawks are nowhere close to the top two teams in the NFL. They're below average, quite frankly. I think I have them right around 20 in my power ratings as of this moment. So no interest in the side. There's going to be some rain. I kind of lean under as far as the total goes. I think 45 is still pretty high in a game where the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, as you mentioned, will be sick. They expect him to still play. And then it seems like it will be Drew Lock for Seattle. Bless. I've seen a lot of love, despite the fact that Geno Smith is a, quote, long shot to play. I've seen a lot of love, and I know you're going in a different direction with your prop for the show, but with Seattle receivers here, perhaps that has something to do with the fact that the Eagles defense has been very bad recently. People have thrown all over them. And the receiver I'm going to target is tight end Noah Fant. Now, you may remember, Mark, on the show a few weeks ago, and maybe the viewers remember this as well. Last time the Eagles were on Monday Night Football was against Kansas City. The prop I gave out in that game was Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown. In my breakdown, I let the fine folks know the Eagles are dead last. We're dead last in DVOA against tight ends, defending the tight ends. Well, guess what? They're still dead last at defending tight ends. Noah Fant plays tight end for the Seattle Seahawks. I like him to go over his receiving yardage total of 20.5. He's hit 25 8 times this season, including each of the last 3 weeks. This is a pretty low number. I mean, all it takes is, one big catch? You can go over 20.5. You'll probably have 2 or 3 to get there. But Noah Fant, over 20.5 receiving yards, is where I am looking for Eagles Seahawks. That is my prop of the week.
All right, well, I will stay with the same mantra here, just fading the Eagles' pass defense here. And I will look to Seattle wide receiver DK Metcalf to go over 61.5 receiving yards for his game tonight. And I don't know that it matters whether it's Geno Smith or Drew Lock, because if you saw last week, the thing about DK is his ability to break plays with his speed and get out and run, to me, is what really is sells it. He's gone over this number in 3 of his last 5 games. He's also done it in 7 of 12 games this year. So with his big play potential and his ability to, break one off, this is a fairly low number. He's had a reception of at least 30 yards in 7 games this season. So that's half of what we need to cash this play here. So I'm going to lean on DK Metcalf to do what DK Metcalf does. And if Seattle has any hope to stay in this game, they're going to have to throw it. And I just want the target share really to be what it needs to be. My hope is that, there's part of me that actually wants Philadelphia to get up so Seattle is forced to throw more. Again, none of the quarterback props yet are out because we don't know whether it's Geno Smith or going to be Drew Lock. But I would also tend to think there's some correlation here with pass attempts, BP, whether it's Smith or Lock, just because, one, throwing against the Eagles is more advantageous, and two, if the Eagles get a lead, kind of like I think they will, Seattle will have to throw in order to get themselves back in this game. So let's go DK Metcalf over 61.5 yards for my prop this evening.
Yeah, Darius Slay out. Obviously, that's a big deal for this Eagles defense. What do you think, though? So you mentioned you think the Eagles might get out to a lead here. What do you think about the fact that the Eagles, is this their floor? Have they hit rock bottom yet after the 2 bad losses? I mean, they've played a lot of good teams in a row. Dallas twice, Kansas City, Buffalo, San Fran. And now we're dropping in class to playing Seattle. They're just laying a short number on the road. Quarterback's questionable. Again, expect to play. Where are we at with the Eagles? Are we done selling on them, or is this a game they can lose? What do you think as far as the side goes? Because I struggled with that coming in my handicap of the game. Like, have we seen the worst of the Eagles yet?
I'll say it this way. No, I don't think this is rock bottom. Again, I'm not going to ignore the fact that this is a team that struggled with the Patriots, struggled with the Commanders twice, lost to the Jets for crying out loud, should have lost the game to the Vikings if the Vikings didn't turn the ball over 3 times, once in the red zone. This is obviously an Eagles team that is not as good as the one last year that went to the Super Bowl. Now, all that said, this could be the bottom just simply because of their schedule after Seattle. Giants, Cardinals, Giants. So they're going to be the beneficiary of playing some really weak opponents in the final 3 weeks of the regular season, which absolutely is going to help them given what the Cowboys have left to do. And even the 49ers, to a certain extent, have a very soft schedule as well on the way out. Their last regular season game against the Rams likely won't even matter unless there's a number 1 seed on the line. But, yeah, so just from the standpoint of do I think we're at the bottom? In the big picture, no. Do I think the Eagles will be plenty vulnerable in the playoffs against a good team, depending on who they play, where they play them, and what the situation is? Absolutely. So I don't think that we've hit bottom with this team. I just don't know that given if it's Drew Lock tonight and then Giants, Cardinals, Giants, that they may lose another game the rest of the season. That said, if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably lean on the Eagles laying the 3.5 tonight if you force me to make a selection. And if it's worth anything, and there's no correlation here, there's no trend, but favorites are 10-5 on the week. Sometimes it's just one of those weeks in the NFL where all the favorites are cashing and all the easy teams, the Bills cashed, the Chiefs cashed, the Ravens cashed, all these favorites that were laying points in the AFC all cashed. So it could be some of that just, happening throughout the rest of the week here.
Yeah, and it feels like we've had a lot of those weeks this year, hasn't it, where it's up, favorites dominated again. It's crazy. And by the way, I will not be putting a gun to your head and forcing you to choose a selection on this game. Thanks. So you can rest easy there. We should also mention part of the handicap, new defensive play caller for the Eagles, Matt Patricia, is taking over as the much maligned Eagles defense was kind of in need of a reboot. Patricia is a Belichick disciple. So
wasn't he calling the offense like a year ago? Wasn't he an offensive coordinator a year ago? Did I remember that correctly?
He's just hanging around. Just call something, Matt. We want you around the building. Just call something.
Give him a headset and microphone and let him just start talking, and somebody will listen.
I'll tell you what. I could not shave from now until the year 2028. Would not have a beard that big. I'll tell you that right now. Well, but go ahead. Sorry, and I know you're forced to shave.
Say, even with a beard, you couldn't be any more attractive than you are right now. So I just want
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's turn here real quick. Turn our attention here real quick. We'll devote a couple of minutes here to the rest of the bowl schedule for this week. You got the Frisco Bowl, UTSA and Marshall, the Boca Raton Bowl, South Florida and Syracuse, and then the Gasparilla Bowl. That's just what I wanted, a Gasparilla. Georgia Tech and Central Florida. Is there any sort of game that you should get a lean on in one direction or another?
First off, I just want to let all the viewers know I was not scared. No, there's not a UFO coming at my house. I looked out the window while you were talking, and these snowflakes are getting rather large here in Ohio.
Ah,
So that's why I did that.
well,
Threw
the
me for a
weather,
loop
the
there.
weather outside is frightful, I think is what you say at this time of year.
Yes, the weather outside is getting frightful. If you're looking for the rest of the week, I think the best spot is going to be Georgia Tech against UCF. Georgia Tech
Yeah.
should be motivated, and motivation
Yes.
sometimes is all it takes to get you over the finish line in these bowl games. Georgia Tech, what a mercurial team they were. I don't think there's a team in the country that deserves to be called mercurial more than the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
This is a team that pulled some massive upsets. They beat Miami in that insane game where Mario Cristobal refused to take a knee, but they lost to Bowling Green as a 3-touchdown favorite. But they're in the underdog role. I think Georgia Tech will care more than UCF. So you give me some points. I think it's down to 4.5 right now. I don't have the wage. I actually just closed the wage stock. Yeah, okay. That would be my favorite look for these weekday bowl games. I will say for the game tomorrow, I did a video elsewhere here on WagerTalk TV talking UTSA Marshall. People are betting UTSA like that game's already over. I liked the under in that one. I'm a little leery of laying double digits in a bowl, even if UTSA should care more. Frank Harris, I believe this will finally be his final college game after about 17 years of eligibility. They want to go out and get their first bowl win, do the Roadrunners, but that's a hefty number. I would lean under. I don't think Marshall's going to score very much.
Yeah, I would also look at a UTSA team total over. If you get 34.5 there, which by the numbers should work out, you get under 35. I think that's not a bad way to play UTSA, who can play fast and score. And oh, by the way, plus 275 odds that somebody leaves a comment in the comment section here in this video saying, what does mercurial mean? Because Brian Power used a big word on the show. So there is that. Make sure you guys leave some comments here on the show below as well. Smash that like button, hit the thumbs up, and the subscribe button as well if you want to be alerted of any of our betting content. Also, tomorrow, $2 Tuesday on WagerTalk.com. And so $2. Every handicapper or most handicappers will all be participating in it. I know Brian Power will. I know I will.
I will be.
So yeah, make sure you guys check it out. And go to WagerTalk.com. We have so many specials going on this time of year between bowls and NFL. Check them all out there, guys. There's a lot of great sales up there and a lot of great information for all you guys to get. So again, WagerTalk.com, the place to go. Don't forget about the full edition of the Hustle Show podcast every single Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern right here on WagerTalk TV. Final thoughts before we pop smoke here on a Monday, Brian Power.
Am I insane for wanting to take the LA Chargers this week, getting double digits at home against the Buffalo Bills? Because Prez and Teddy made fun of me earlier today for wanting to do that. I think I'm going to do it.
I would also tell you that Prez and Teddy made fun of you a couple of weeks ago for saying the Bills were the best team in the AFC or one of the best teams in the AFC. And lo and behold, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Nobody does a victory lap like Brian Power when he's said right after many weeks of being told no.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think the spot screams Chargers. I mean, hey, you only got one chance in life to take a team after giving up 63 to a team that scored 3 the previous week. So,
and you get the new coach bump. You get the new coach
yes.
bump, which is always a good kind of bump to get. So, yeah, I'm with you. Big games this week too. I would tell you right off the bat, I lean Dallas very heavily against Miami. Every time Miami plays a physical team and gets smacked in the mouth, guess what? They get smacked in the mouth. Dallas, after losing 2 straight, might end up coming out of this one a little bit angry, even though they are on the road. So we'll get to that throughout the rest of the week. Again, Hustle Show Podcast Full Edition on Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you guys watching. As always, go to WagerTalk.com. $2 Tuesday tomorrow. Make sure you guys check it out as well. For Brian Power, I'm Mark Zinno. Enjoy the games tonight. Good luck with your bets. Go cash some tickets. We'll talk to you tomorrow.